Hello my friends, Kaitlyn here, and have you ever taken medication for depression before? What? But medication is for weak people. So welcome to part 2 of my mental health series. On Tuesday, we talked about the benefits of seeing a therapist, and you can watch that over here if you haven't already done so. And today we're going to talk about the benefits of taking medication to help recover from mental illness. What I want to stress up front is that the combination of medicine and therapy worked really well for me in dealing with depression, but everyone is different. So maybe one or the other is what you need, but I'm going to speak from my personal experience of how a combination of the two really helped me. So when I was diagnosed with OCD at 11 and was having some pretty severe anxiety attacks, a doctor did suggest to my parents to put me on medication, but that was not happening with my parents. And actually, I'm kind of glad of this because it allowed me at 22, when I was mostly fully developed, to decide for myself that I wanted to try medication. So post-college, I was pretty severely depressed. I had a lot of suicidal ideation. I never made any active plans, but it is something that I guess you could say I longed for, which is kind of weird to say, but it's the best way to describe it because I just hated myself and my life and the world so much that the idea of dying or being dead was the only thing that felt like a relief. And all the deep breathing and exercise and prayer in the world was not doing anything to touch it. That's when the option of going on an antidepressant became a realistic option for me. I had always been scared of medication. I was afraid that it would take away the me that was me, that I would become some sort of zombie. But the sad thing was, I was a zombie already. Depression is a chemical imbalance in your body. So taking a medication to try to balance those chemicals back is actually kind of logical sounding. So I decided to try it. I worked with a really wonderful psychiatrist and we tried 2 different antidepressants. The first one I had to switch from because it was causing some really intense night sweats and restless leg, and those were just not side effects that I was okay with dealing with. But eventually we found a medication and a dosage that worked for me. And slowly, almost without me even realizing it, I stopped wanting to die all the time. Medicine didn't fix all my issues 100%, but it did pull me up enough from my lowest low that I was able to start seeing realistically all the things that were wrong in my life. And it was at that point that I started to think, hey, maybe seeing a therapist would be useful. So I got into therapy, and that pushed me even farther along in my recovery journey. And now, almost 5 years later, I wouldn't say that I've recovered from depression. I feel like it's something that I'm always gonna have to be vigilant for, but I am so much more of a functioning human being than I was when I graduated college. And what's even better is that I now know how to watch for signs of spiraling into a low point in both my mind and my body. Yay for health and positive thoughts and not wanting to die. So I made this little 2-part series to tell you my story because I think it's important, but mostly to encourage you, if you've ever felt any of the ways that I've talked about in these last 2 videos, to seek help. Go to your primary care physician, tell them how you've been feeling, they'll refer you to a psychiatrist or a therapist or both. My biggest piece of advice is to not wait until you are in the throes of a lowest low point, because at that point it is 1, hard to accept that you need help, and 2, it never feels like the help comes fast enough. Basically, don't wait for a crisis to decide to take care of your mental health. And I know it can be super hard to admit that you need help. Many of our cultures make us believe that we are weak or crazy because of it, but no, the culture is wrong. I and so many other people are out there trying to destigmatize mental health and the idea of seeking help. Hence the video, woohoo! You deserve to find help, so ask, and keep asking until you find it. You can do it. I did it. I mean, 5 years ago, I thought it was going to be impossible. I thought I would be dead by 25, and I'm 100% serious when I say that. I don't talk about it very much in real life or on YouTube because it's not a very fun thing to talk about, and I try to be, positive and happy for you guys here. But it was a very real problem for me. So I'd love to know about your experiences with mental illness. Maybe you've started on the road to recovery like me, or you have a friend or family member who has, or you know someone who you think needs to. Tell me all your thoughts down in the comments, plus remember to like, favorite, share, and subscribe if this video made you smile or gave you some hope. See you guys on Tuesday.